Big news is shaking up the Formula One world as Mercedes has come forward with shocking proof that Red Bull may have been cheating. This revelation could change everything in the race for the championship. What does this mean for the teams and the sport? Toto Wolff has stirred up new drama around Red Bull, questioning whether they've used a device to adjust the car's ride height illegally. This device, meant to raise or lower the car, is supposedly locked once the car is assembled. However, Wolff thinks Red Bull may have found a way to use it and believes the FIA, Formula One's governing body, hasn't fully investigated the situation. Wolff wants tougher penalties and a more serious approach from the FIA, especially with other teams like Ferrari and McLaren also putting pressure on them. Even though Mercedes and Red Bull's rivalry on the track has slowed since 2022, Wolff remains a vocal critic of Red Bull's tactics. This recent issue over the ride height device has only fueled his concerns. According to the FIA, the device seems legal since it can't technically be accessed once the car is ready to race. They even checked it during the Austin GP and found everything to be within regulations. However, Wolff finds it odd that Red Bull keeps this device in the car if it serves no purpose during a race, as every part's weight and function matter in F1. Wolff isn't convinced the FIA has done a thorough job investigating Red Bull's use of the device. He feels they need to dig deeper and find out if Red Bull has been using it in previous races. Proving this is no easy task, but Wolff is adamant that without clear answers, the issue will linger, leaving fans and teams questioning whether the playing field is truly fair. Meanwhile, Wolff didn't even hold back when speaking about Red Bull's ride height device. He finds it outrageous that such a part even exists on an F1 car if it has no purpose once the car is assembled. He explained that all teams build parts to strict F1 standards, often pushing limits within the regulations. But certain parts, like this device, raise questions. It has markings for two positions, which seems strange if it's only useful before assembly. This has sparked curiosity among F1 experts, as it doesn't seem to have a function during races. Does the device actually help Red Bull? Red Bull has defended the device, claiming it can't be used after the car is set up. However, Wolff believes it's suspicious to keep a heavy part that doesn't serve a clear purpose. Interestingly, Red Bull has been vocal about their cars being on the heavier side. To save weight, they've even stripped paint from the car rather than removing this device, which would naturally make the car lighter. This choice has raised more eyebrows, especially since every ounce matters in F1. The team's dominance in recent seasons only adds to the controversy. Winning 21 out of 22 races in 2023, they've proven their performance on track. But Wolff believes such success also brings added responsibility to play fair. Red Bull has faced penalties before, specifically a budget cap breach in 2021. This led to a €7 million fine and a sporting penalty, which has affected their development. Despite this, Max Verstappen is on track to win the current championship, barring any major surprises. However, Wolff argues that Red Bull might face challenges going into the 2025 season if their innovations push too close to the rule boundaries. Wolff isn't convinced that Red Bull's ride height device should be allowed under current F1 regulations. He's openly skeptical about whether this device complies with the same rules that all other teams must follow. Wolff expects the FIA to review this device closely, pointing out that it seems like a clever workaround, but may not be entirely within the spirit of the regulations. He said he hopes the FIA leadership examines Red Bull's actions carefully. Wolff humorously referenced a broom that was placed in the car as part of Red Bull's explanation of the device. He speculates that this broom placement may be a way to try and visually demonstrate how the device works, adding, "I wonder how long it took them to make this up." His comments suggest he finds Red Bull's explanation as elaborate as it is suspicious, adding yet another layer to the ongoing rivalry between Mercedes and Red Bull. Zak Brown's doubts on Red Bull's device. Zak Brown, CEO of McLaren, remains skeptical about Red Bull's ride height device. He believes there may be more to this innovative component than meets the eye. While confident that the FIA will address the issue thoroughly, Brown sees it as another example of Red Bull's knack for navigating the rulebook, in ways that some view as pushing boundaries between ingenuity and bending the rules. Brown notes that Red Bull's device, while reportedly legal, raises questions due to its unique capabilities. He stated, "I'm comfortable the FIA is on top of the issue and they've found something to look into." He went on to say that while the device itself has been deemed permissible, its history remains unclear. Specifically, Brown questions if Red Bull may have used it in a way that's technically legal but allows adjustments during races, a feature no other team appears to have. Given its open-source nature, other teams have access to the general design, but Brown notes that only Red Bull's version seems capable of being modified from inside the cockpit. The central concern for Brown and other competitors isn't just the device's legality, but the potential edge it could offer if it allows in-session ride height adjustments. This flexibility would let Red Bull set a lower ride height during qualifying, when the car is lighter with minimal fuel, and a different height during the race, when it's fully loaded. This kind of in-session adaptability could give Red Bull's car an edge in different phases of the race, something that other teams can't replicate under current regulations. Brown's lingering question remains: if the device is already sealed to prevent mid-race adjustments, then why add another seal? As of now, these allegations about Red Bull's ride height device remain speculative. The rumors stem from top F1 executives who are closely watching Red Bull's competitive strategies, particularly since the team's dominance showed signs of vulnerability after the recent Austin GP upgrades. For McLaren CEO Zak Brown, however, the device represents more than mere gossip. He sees it as a critical issue worth scrutinizing. One of Brown's main concerns centers on the competitive benefits of a lower ride height. Running a car lower often makes it faster, he noted. Brown acknowledges that the FIA has done its part by identifying specific, questionable elements within the Red Bull car. Yet, after reviewing all open-source components, it seems only Red Bull's setup allows in-cockpit ride height adjustments. While Brown has no evidence that this has been used in race conditions, he points out that the very ability to do so raises significant regulatory questions. Under F1 rules, any such modification is strictly against the regulations unless explicitly approved for driver comfort. Red Bull reportedly added a seal to the device to prevent in-race adjustments. However, Brown remains skeptical, as this decision has done little to quell suspicions. To him and other rivals, adding a seal only partially addresses the controversy, as it does not eliminate the possibility of prior use or prevent future tampering. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has dismissed these concerns as baseless attempts by competitors to cast doubt on Red Bull's achievements. Horner argues that the so-called drama around the device is a case of rivals trying to stir up conflict where none exists. It's going to be challenging for anyone to prove that Red Bull has misused its ride height device. Whenever a legality issue arises involving Red Bull, there seems to be an understanding with the FIA, making it difficult to uncover the truth. Interestingly, the same scrutiny can be applied to McLaren, which has also faced its share of controversies. The team utilized a mini DRS trick on its rear wing, but this tactic was only exposed during the Baku race. Recently, McLaren has struggled with car speed, particularly evident during the Austin GP, suggesting that the FIA's tightening of regulations has had an impact. Despite McLaren's efforts to optimize their MCL38 cars for high downforce, achieving top speed has not been their primary focus. FIA's clampdown on certain components appears to have been effective, pushing teams to adapt. McLaren's team principal Zak Brown has pointed out that the adjuster for the ride height is included in the list of open-source components. This means it has been publicly available for 3 years, and the FIA has expressed satisfaction with its legality. Brown believes that the ongoing concern is more about addressing paranoia within the paddock than any actual regulatory breach. With all this in mind, the big question remains: has Red Bull truly exploited this device? If they have, does the FIA possess the necessary tools and authority to investigate past events? The complexity of these regulations and the fierce competition among teams make it increasingly difficult to determine the truth. So, what do you think of the major bombshell evidence of Red Bull's cheating scheme? Comment below your views and subscribe for more.